The entirety of the show is meant to be a reflection on memory, both personal memory, family memory as like a micro, but then macro, thinking about our collective public memory and the ways in which we memorialize specific events, histories, landscapes. And so this work really is meant to touch into some of these ideas as like a fundamental throwaway throughout the whole body of work. The title of the exhibition, Boyish as a Birch Tree, is actually part of an ongoing series I've been naming as a kind of historical project. It's a long form poem where I'm trying to memorize words from the Beothic dictionary. And so boyish is actually the Beothic word for birch tree. And I was very intrigued by this idea of thinking about boyish as an English word as well in that translation, and thinking about boyhood and thinking about how we grow into the people that we are. So every piece that shapes this exhibition is addressing some notion of memory. I've been really trying to think personally about the challenges of memory loss, both in terms of like family history, but also interpersonal, and like losing our connection to the past in certain ways, and like how we redefine that intimacy. So that's at the micro level. And then at the macro level, it's more about thinking about how there's kind of amnesia around certain things. So for instance, if I have family members who are having memory issues, do I have to like come into the closet again? And I say it jokingly, but then at the same time, I think of that as an interesting reflection to also apply to national contexts in terms of thinking about some of the ways in which civil liberties are being questioned or peeled back. Unfortunately, it's become a divisive political landscape where LGBT is even being like sort of split apart. I'm more for inclusion and belonging and solidarity, and I feel as though the political landscape on both the left and the right have made it so everyone is so much more individualistic, and bridges are not being built, they're being burnt down. And I'm trying to create a space where at least other people might be able to engage with it and be like, oh, there's other perspectives in this world and they're not that scary. Dealing with queerness in my work was something I did 20 years ago when I thought, for me, it was important to come out, it was important to be visible, but it also felt as though the work that I had done 20 years ago, the world, or at least in the Canadian context, people were more comfortable with queer artists and understood the value, and to not be scared or shamed about who we are. But now my work moved away from that because I thought, because I'm not ashamed, it just didn't need to play a role in my work. And so now I'm returning to queerness as like a theme in conjunction with memory, but it's not because I'm ashamed, it's because I'm realizing that there's more discourse that is resistant to queerness, which I find deeply upsetting. And I think it's important to be a bit more assertive about what I believe in. And for me, my art practice is very much vocabulary. It's very much like my way of speaking to a community or a context, and to a past, to a future, to a present. And so that's why I think it's important for me to have this work here. There should be no shame in enjoying this body of work, you know? And I think it's actually one of the best exhibitions that I've produced, and like the installation of this work is fantastic. The team here is phenomenal. I'm really proud of this exhibition. Like, I think it turned out really well.